My dearest child, I need you to still your heart and hear me clearly. Something final has been set in motion. The heavens did not blink, and the earth did not tremble when I acted, but know this, the gates of judgment have been opened by my hand, and no force in heaven, earth, or beneath can now close them. This is not a moment of hesitation or warning. It is the moment of reckoning. Someone dangerously close to you has crossed an unbreakable line, one drawn by me rather than man. Have you sensed it? That quiet unease, the shadow that lurks just behind the smiles and words. And now I must show you why I, the Lord your God, moved so quickly. You must understand that this is not about unjustified anger, vengeance, or wrath. I have no pleasure in destruction. My heart, filled with mercy and patience, has waited longer than you can imagine. I extended grace repeatedly. I sent whispers, warnings, and signs, but they were all ignored. Hardened hearts can silence the conscience, but they cannot silence me. And now, what was hidden in darkness is being brought into the light, not for curiosity, but for clarity. Because you need to know and deserve to see what has been lurking beneath the surface. This person, yes, the one you trusted, relied on, and possibly even loved, has not only sinned, but has chosen to live in deception, to manipulate, harm, and bring spiritual poison into your life. They played with fire and laughed at conviction. They disguised betrayal with charm. They cloaked their wickedness in closeness, thinking I would stay silent forever. But I am not mocked, nor am I blind. My justice is not delayed, it is precise, and it has already begun. The path they've walked was paved with choices, deliberate, dangerous ones. Their deception was not a sign of weakness, it was a practice. Their betrayal wasn't an accident, it was a pattern. And while you prayed for peace, they planned to take control. They planted thorns while you were seeking healing. This is not about a single offense. It's about a soul who rejected every opportunity to change. And now their time has come. But, child, don't fear. This revelation is not intended to shatter you, but rather to set you free. What you thought you'd lost in silence, I'm restoring in clarity. You're not alone. I've been watching, keeping records, and preserving your soul through every manipulation and lie. Now I'm pulling back the veil so you can see clearly and walk in the safety of truth. What I'm about to reveal will change the way you perceive yourself, your circle, and your future. Breathe deeply. Sit close. Give me these few moments, and I'll tell you what the enemy tried to keep from you, the whole truth. You were never crazy. You were never overreacting. What you felt in your spirit was genuine. And now I'll show you why. Justice has arrived, not in fury but in righteousness. And the darkness that stood so close to you is now being cast far away by my word and by my fire. Stay with me. Let us begin. Before I reveal who this person truly is and why their judgment has been sealed, let me address what your heart may be struggling with. You may wonder if I, your Father in heaven, am being too harsh, whether I've closed the door too quickly or denied them a final chance to repent. But listen closely, beloved one, this is not a decision born from impulse or wrath. It is a decision based on time-tested truth. I didn't turn my back on them without reason. In fact, I gave them more chances to repent than your human mind can handle. I stretched time. I delayed justice. I postponed consequences again and again, just to give them room to change. I sent bold and unmistakable signs. I instilled conviction in their spirit. I whispered warnings in the silence of the night. I even allowed the shaking of their world so they might awaken and turn from destruction. But let me be even more direct, they did not ignore these signs. They weren't blind to my voice. No, they received every message and chose to reject them all, intentionally, repeatedly, and willfully. They knew what was right and still ran toward darkness. They slapped my outstretched hand away. This isn't about a single moment of weakness, it's about a heart hardened by pride, deception, and a desire for power. They've crossed thresholds not out of ignorance, but out of rebellion. And now, because they refuse to leave the darkness, they will be swallowed by it. The gates of hell have opened not because of divine cruelty, but because this person demanded it, with each unrepented act and deceitful step. Now, I must show you who they truly are, not who they pretend to be, not who you wish they were, but who they have revealed themselves to be when no one is looking, except me. So listen closely, the one I speak of is not some distant enemy. They are not strangers in another country. They're close. Too close. They've shared your breath. They have touched your world. They've poisoned your sacred spaces. This is the one who smiled in you while plotting your downfall. The person who wore a mask of support while secretly cheering on your cause. Someone who used proximity as a weapon. They manipulated your kindness. They twisted your compassion. They feigned love while spreading decay. And all the while, they believed I would do nothing. That my silence meant permission. That my patience meant weakness. But now I rise, not to speak, but to act. It's no longer about warnings. This is the result of divine intervention. This person has a habit of causing harm. They did not fall, rather, they built a life based on deception. They did not stumble, rather, they ran toward destruction, dragging others along with them. And now their reach has extended to you. That's where I draw the line. You are my beloved, and I will not let the destroyer sit at your table for one moment longer. I did not bring you through fire, loss, and tears just to allow the enemy to derail your destiny. I watched. I've waited. And now I've spoken. The season of warning has ended. The season of reckoning has started. And no, this isn't vengeance. This is justice. This is the result of choice after choice, the final echo of a heart that would not bow. And while you may still feel sorrow for what was, I need you to feel strength for what's next. Because when I, your God, act to end the reign of a deceiver, everything changes. The mask falls. The truth is revealed. The atmosphere shifted. And you, my child, walk forward, freer, wiser, and safer. The truth is difficult, but it is holy. And now we begin the next chapter together. Let the unveiling begin. You've witnessed my mercy in action, felt the shelter of my grace, the tender reach of my hand pulling you back from cliffs you had no idea you were standing on. You've tasted the sweetness of my patience, seen me cover the sins of others just to give them more time, more chances, more hope for redemption. I've been the God who waits. The person who speaks gently. The person who defends in silence. But now, my beloved, you are about to see another side of me, one that is equally holy and true. You're about to witness my justice. Because I am not the only God who is waiting. I am the God who moves. The guardian God. The God who draws a line in the sand and declares, no more. And that line has now been crossed again and again and again. The person I am revealing to you now was given every opportunity to change. They weren't ignored. They were not left without assistance. I reached for them when no one else did. I whispered truth into the deepest places of their soul when the world had gone quiet. I softened their path when they deserved to be hardened. I gave them years of time. Not just time measured by days and hours, but divine pauses, reroutes, interventions. I placed open doors in front of them, bridges they didn't deserve, opportunities they didn't earn. And still, they set fire to every one of them. I need you to listen. I see clearly now that what is about to happen is not cruelty, it is protection. It is not vengeance, it is justice. You've carried the weight of their darkness for far too long. You've wrestled with guilt that wasn't yours. You've lost sleep over their decisions. You've questioned your own worth because they can't love, change, or grow. And I've watched. I have waited. I have shown more mercy than they have ever acknowledged. But I won't wait another moment while they continue to feed off your peace, drain your happiness, and manipulate the light I have placed inside you. This is over, not because you asked for vengeance, but because I love you too much to let this go on. When I move, I don't move with chaos, I move with clarity. There will be no dramatic signs. There will be no thunder or flaming skies. No, my judgment is calm and certain. And when it arrives, it leaves nothing standing that was built on deception. The illusions they've created, the false identities, lies, and emotional traps, will crumble under the weight of my truth. Quietly. Swiftly. Irreversibly. They will stand proud one moment, thinking that the web they spun still has power. The next, everything they thought untouchable will unravel like dust in the wind. I want you to understand that I'm not doing this out of hatred for them. I do not find joy in passing judgment. But I will not let someone who chooses darkness destroy what I have built in your life. This isn't punishment, it's protection. This is not about wrath, it is about rescue. You asked me to deliver you. You asked me for peace. You asked me for confirmation. Now I'm giving it to you, but not in whispers. I'm stepping in as your defender, father, and author of justice. They won't escape this moment. There will be no way out, no excuses, and no last-minute rewriting. What they have hidden will be revealed. What they have done in secret will come to light. And the influence they've held over hearts and minds will be broken, completely. I will scatter whatever they thought they controlled. What they built for manipulation, I will dismantle. And I will do it without delay. For it is written, and I do not lie, it is a frightening thing to fall into the hands of the living God. Yes, they are now falling. Not because you demanded it. Not because they have offended you. But I judged it to be correct. I love you. Because I've waited long enough. This is the final chapter, and I will not ask anyone else to write it. My hand holds the pen. My justice seals the scroll. And my love for you is the reason this chapter must end, so that a new one full of peace, healing, and hope can begin. As the door behind you slams shut, loud, final, and filled with the echoes of everything I've just ended, don't look back. That chapter is over. The confusion, betrayal, and spiritual burden you didn't even realize you were carrying have been lifted. I let that door close with force so you wouldn't be tempted to reopen it. But while that noise fades, I want you to shift your focus. Lift your head. Keep your heart steady. Because in the silence that follows, something sacred is being revealed, just for you. Not in chaos, but in calm. Not in shadows, but in the light. I've been working behind the scenes, creating something holy in secret, and now it's time to reveal it. What I'm about to open for you next is more than just a blessing, it's the answer to every tear, prayer, and silent plea you thought I hadn't heard. But I did. And now it's here. I know your heart is tired. I see the weight beneath your smile, the heaviness in your spirit that no one else sees. Every morning, you wake up with burdens too big to name and responsibilities too deep to explain, and you still manage to move forward. You try to keep it together for them, yourself, and the dream you haven't given up on. But, my child, you do not have to do this alone. I have been walking with you the entire time. When the night wore on and your strength dwindled, I was there. When your hands trembled with exhaustion and your prayers came out in whispers, I was listening. I have seen it all. And I've never turned away. So, now I ask you to bring it all to me. Do not hold back. Every thought. Every doubt. Every wound that still hurts. I can handle it. I want it. Lay it down at my feet, and trust that I will lift what you can no longer carry. Through prayer, you will find not just answers, but rest. You will find me, not distant or disappointed, but present, patient, and powerful. I'm still your provider. I've never stopped being your defender. What appears impossible to you is already solved in my hands. You do not need to understand how everything will work out. That's my job. Your role is to lean into me, to trust my timing, and to rest in the truth that heaven's resources are already flowing in your direction. My angels are moving as you read this. My spirit is ahead of you, preparing the way. The favor you need? It is already being assigned. The connections you thought were lost? I am restoring them. The doors you thought were permanently shut? I'm unlocking them right now. And no one can shut what I've opened. But don't rush through that door with pride. Walk through it reverently. This is more than just a breakthrough, it's also about alignment. Every opportunity placed before you is not a reward for effort, it's a reflection of my goodness. Yes, you prayed. Yes, you remained faithful when it was difficult. But don't forget, I am the one who moved the mountains. I am the one who pushed back the darkness. I am the one who carried you when you couldn't take another step. So, when the answer comes, when the blessing touches your hands, and your eyes finally see what your heart had believed in the dark, give me the glory. Not because you earned it, but because I gave it in love. This is a divine appointment, a supernatural unveiling. And what you are about to walk into will be a testimony not of your strength, but of my faithfulness. You are entering into the realm of answered prayers, fulfilled promises, and divine provision that has always been set aside for you. So walk in humility. Walk in praise. Walk with a heart that knows where the blessing came from. Because I, your God, open doors that no man can close, and I never open them without a reason. It was never about perfection. It was never about working your way into my promises. It was always about your heart, your willingness to say yes even when you were shaking, your decision to trust me even when everything else seemed uncertain. That, my child, is what moved heaven. You answered yes. You were willing. And now I'm calling on you to take the next step, not in fear, but in praise. Don't let discouragement seep into your soul. Do not let weariness become your identity. I know what you are carrying. I notice the weight pressing down on you in the quiet hours, when no one is watching. I see the questions you've tucked deep inside. Why is it still hard? Why hasn't it changed yet? When will it finally make sense? And my answer to you is this: in time, you will see. I haven't forgotten you. I have not overlooked your pain. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should. The road to my kingdom was never easy. It was never meant to be easy, because ease does not build endurance, and comfort does not foster love. You want blessings to arrive quickly. You want peace without a battle. But, my beloved, true peace is found not in the absence of storms, but in the midst of them, when your spirit leans into mine and refuses to let go. These difficulties you are going through are not punishments. They're preparing. They are shaping you into someone who is stronger, braver, and knows me more deeply. Your faith is being forged, not in the light of day, but in the heat of unseen obedience. And that obedience is precious to me. Even minor frustrations, insignificant moments, delays that test your patience, and people who put your kindness to the test are all part of the refinement process. Every moment counts. Each step has a purpose. I craft each trial with care, not to crush you, but to crave out something eternal in you. You will not walk the same path as anyone else. Your path is your own. But, no matter what the terrain, I'll walk with you. I'm going before you. I am standing beside you. And when your strength falters, I carry you. You have come through so much more than most can understand. The pain of your past wasn't small. You've battled wounds that sought to silence your joy. You've carried scars from betrayal, rejection, and abuse that tried to convince you that you were too broken to ever be whole again. People who should have shielded you turned away. People you trusted with your heart abused it. And yet, you didn't let the darkness win. You did not let bitterness grow. Even though your spirit felt torn, you kept your hands open. You still gave love. You still spoke with kindness. You still chose light. Throughout it all, you never let go of me. You may have questioned. You may have cried out in frustration. But you never really walked away. That matters more than you realize. Your faith, even in its smallest flickers, has been powerful. Your worship in the valley has been louder than 1,000 praises on the mountaintop. I see it. I treasure it. And I will honor it. I am not finished with your story, not by a long shot. What lies ahead of you is more than just restoration, it is a reward. Not just healing, it's elevation. So keep moving forward. Continue to trust. Keep bringing me your heart, I'm still writing something beautiful. And this next chapter will prove that not a single tear was wasted.